In the last lecture, we have seen the cell and its contents. We have concentrated on the structure of the plasma membrane, that is the cell membrane. Today we will see the second component, that is the cell wall. In a plasma membrane, we have seen it is the covering of the cell, either plant cell or animal cell, and it helps in a transport of substances in and out. Many organisms like amoeba, they absorb the food material by the process of diffusion, and this diffusion, when the intake of food takes place by the means of diffusion, then that process is called endocytosis. It is called endocytosis. So we have seen that the diffusion is the main process which takes place through the plasma membrane, through which the cells they take in, the organisms, the unicellular organism rather, they take in the different kinds of materials from the environment, and they release the waste material from the plasma membrane to the outer environment. Now we are concentrating on the second component, that is the cell wall. Cell wall. When we see the structure of the plant cell, this is the plant cell. This is plant cell here. The plant cell has a covering, that is a cell membrane, which is a covering present in plant cell as well as in animal cell. But in plant cell, outer to this cell membrane, there is another wall, another cover, and that another cover is called the cell wall. So the cell membrane in plant cells is covered by the cell wall. This is called the cell wall. Cell wall is present only in plant cells, and cell wall is made up of cellulose. Cellulose is a complex type of sugar. This cellulose, it is the main component of the cell wall. Cell wall, the function of the cell wall is protection, and it gives rigidity and hardness to the cell. Cell wall, it protects the cell and gives proper shape to the cell, which is present only in a plant cells. Now inside this there is a cell membrane, and inside this there is presence of a protoplasm. Now what happens when the cell is placed, if this is the container, and in this container if the cell is placed, this is cell membrane and this is a cell wall, and inside this there is a protoplasm. So this is protoplasm, and this is the concentrated solution. When we take a concentrated solution, that is a hypertonic solution in a beaker, and the protoplasm, if it is a dilute, the concentration is, or it is dilute, or we call it a hypotonic, then what will happen? As per the rule of osmosis, the flow of the solvent will be from the weaker solution to the stronger solution. That means the water will move from the cell to the outer medium. And what will happen in the next case, if you see after some time, that this is the cell wall and this protoplasm shrinks. The shrinkage of protoplasm takes place because the loss of water will be there, and there is a gap between the cell wall and cell membrane. So gap is formed between this cell wall and cell membrane, and protoplasm, it shrinks. And this process is called plasmolysis. This is called plasmolysis. So in plant cells there is a plasmolysis, and in other case what will happen? If the cell is placed in water, if the cell is placed in pure water, this is water we are taking in a beaker, and here the cell is placed. This is cell wall and this is cell membrane. And what will happen now? This is concentrated solution. and this is a dilute one. Again, the process of osmosis. That is, endosmosis will occur. The water will flow from outer medium to inside the cell. And what will happen? The protoplasm will swell. The protoplasm will swell and it will get, the cell membrane will get tightly attached to the cell wall. But what happens? The cell will not burst. Why? Because there is a layer of cell wall. The pressure which is exerted from inside, this pressure which is exerted from inside, this is the cell, this is protoplasm, and due to storage of extra water, a pressure is exerted on the cell membrane and that cell membrane gets fused with the cell wall. And this pressure which is exerted is called the turgor pressure. It is called a turgor pressure. When the cell swells, it creates a turgor pressure on the wall. And the cell will not burst because there is a cell wall. This is the cell wall. And what happens? Why the cell doesn't burst? The cell wall creates the opposite pressure, the equal and opposite pressure from outside on the cell membrane, and that pressure is called the wall pressure. It is called wall pressure. It is just like a tube. When the cycle tube, when we pump the air inside the tube, that tube swells. But the tire doesn't burst because outside the tube there is a tire. And when the tube swells, it gets fused with the tire wall. And at the same time, the tire gives another pressure on the tube. And that pressure, which is exerted from outside, in case of cell, that is called the wall pressure. So, turgor pressure is equal to wall pressure. Turgor pressure is always equal to wall pressure. That's why the plant cells, the bacterial cells, the fungal cells, they can survive in different media, in a watery medium. They can sustain in the watery medium because the cell will not burst because there is a cell wall. So, cell wall plays very important role. The next component we see, that is the nucleus. The nucleus, inside the cell there is a spherical round ball-like structure which is called nucleus. Nucleus is the controlling center, governing center of the cell. This nucleus is a spherical body which is present inside the cell, suspended in cytoplasm. Now the nucleus, it has got the outer covering. That covering membrane is called the nuclear membrane. The covering, the wall of the nucleus is called the nuclear membrane, which is double layered. So this is two-layered nuclear membrane, and this nuclear membrane has small pores at some intervals. There are small openings, and these small openings which are present in the nuclear membrane, these are called the nuclear pore. They are called a nuclear pore. The nuclear pore help in exchange of material from cytoplasm. This is cytoplasm, and the fluid which is present inside the nucleus is called nucleoplasm. Cytoplasm and nucleoplasm together will form the protoplasm. So the fluid or the materials from cytoplasm can enter inside the nucleoplasm, and the material from nucleoplasm can go out into the cytoplasm. So the exchange of material takes place through this nuclear pore. Inside the nucleus, there is a spherical round body which is called nucleolus. It is called a nucleolus, which plays a role in the formation of, in the synthesis of RNA. And inside this nucleus we find the fluid which is present. That fluid we call nucleoplasm, and in this fluid we see the thread-like structures, and these thread-like structures are called chromosomes. They are called chromosomes. But these chromosomes can be visible only, the chromosomes can be visible only at the time of cell division. Only at the time of cell division. But when the cell is not in the state of division, when the cell is not dividing, that cell is called, it is in the interphase. When the cell is in the resting phase, that is called, it is in the interphase. And in the interphase, what we find, the nucleus, it is filled with fine thread-like structures, and these thread-like structures, they are called chromatin. And as the cell enters into the reproductive phase or in the mitotic phase or in the division phase, condensation of the chromatin takes place. Then they are converted into thread-like structures, and these thread-like structures are called the chromosomes. Chromosomes, they are made up of DNA and protein. They are made up of DNA and protein. There are two types of nuclei. The nucleus, the structure of the nucleus is of two types. In case of prokaryotic cell, prokaryotic is the primitive cell. The genetic material, that is a chromatin material or chromosome, is not covered by the nuclear membrane. There is no nuclear membrane. There is no nuclear membrane around the chromatin material, and this nucleus is called the nucleoid, which is a primitive type of nucleus, and this can be seen only in prokaryotes. Pro means primitive, karyon means nucleus, the cells containing primitive type of nucleus. And when the chromatin material, the genetic material, is covered by the specific nuclear membrane, then that type of cell is called the eukaryotic cell. U means true, karyon means nucleus. True nucleus, eukaryotic cell. Primitive type of nucleus without cover, prokaryotic cell. So these are the two types of cells defined on the basis of the structure of the chromatin material, structure of the nuclear membrane, the structure of the nucleus, prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. Now these chromosomes, they contain DNA and proteins. The details related with the DNA, which is a genetic material, which is a hereditary material, which transmit the genetic material from one generation to another, that we shall see in the next video. Thank you.